What's up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Now, I know it's been a couple months since my last upload, but I think I finally have everything figured out in terms of my computer not working and problems with the internet being too slow. So I think we can finally get back into daily uploads and continue updating you guys on these different stocks like NIO stock and other growth stocks that you guys have been watching. But with that out of the way, today's video is going to be an update on NIO stock, which I'm sure you guys expected because I haven't really posted about NIO or any other stock in the last few months. And so we're going to go over why NIO stock is actually on fire today. And I'm also going to go over some of the delivery numbers that NIO's released over the last few months and how this has actually affected their share price. Then I'm also going to touch on NIO Day, which is going to be held on December 18th, and how that could affect NIO going forward over the next week or two. And then towards the end of the video, I'm going to let you guys know what I think about NIO and whether you should consider buying into this stock right now, especially seeing as though they're down so much right now. But before we actually get into the video, for those of you who are new here, my name is Evan, and I make videos that show you guys different ways of making money in the stock market. So if that interests you guys, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss when I upload. Also, while you guys are down there, if you wouldn't mind hitting the like button, I would really appreciate it, especially because I've been away for a few months. It would really help boost up these first few videos that I post and kind of help get these videos back into the algorithm and get them spread out to more people. So again, if you guys could hit the like button, I would really appreciate it. Now, first thing is first, NIO is actually trading about 5% in the green today, and they're trading right around $35 or slightly below. Right now, they're at $34.69. And this is actually good to see because NIO's dropped down quite substantially in the last month or so. Because if we look at the monthly chart, they're actually down 15.5%, and you can see that they bounced off of that low, which they hit just in the last couple days. But I'll go over why that happened and why they are potentially starting to go back up and why they may see a lot more positive days in the next coming weeks and especially through the end of the year and into early 2022. Now, just days ahead of NIO Day, which is going to be December 18th, like I mentioned earlier, NIO actually struck a new partnership in Europe. Now, this partnership hasn't really made it to the headlines yet, and there's also a rumor floating around that NIO could do a secondary listing. But we're going to start off with this partnership, and it's with one of the world's leading car leasing companies called LeasePlan, and they revealed that they signed a partnership with NIO to offer their flagship SUV, which is the ES8 in Norway. I'm sure a lot of you guys who research and invest in NIO probably remember that NIO first announced their official entry into Norway in late September with their first ES8 delivery. But this deal with LeasePlan is actually the first of its kind for this EV manufacturer in Europe. And just as a quick summary, LeasePlan has nearly 1.8 million vehicles across 29 countries, and they're committed to achieving net zero emissions from their fleet by 2030. And I'm also pretty positive that a lot of you guys are aware that countries like China want to get rid of emissions and gas-powered vehicles by 2025. And there's also a lot of tax relief and different benefits from buying an electric vehicle right now. And I think those benefits are only going to get bigger and bigger as we get closer to 2025 and beyond. And it's also worth noting that Goldman Sachs just reported NIO to be among the US listed Chinese firms that could be eligible for a listing in Hong Kong. And this is according to the South China Morning Post. And at least in my opinion, if NIO considers dual listing sometime in the future, this is going to present them with multiple advantages, and it should be a great backup for a Chinese stock, especially in terms of US regulatory risks that they've been facing pretty much for the last year or two. Now, moving on to NIO Day, which is going to be December 18th. So as of posting this video, that's in 10 days. NIO is expected to officially launch their ET7, but they're also going to unveil two new other models, including an entry-level car model, which they're going to name the ET5. There also are some photos floating around from CN EV Post, and these are suspected to be of the ET5 sedan on a road in China. Now, I can't confirm if this is actually that vehicle, but apparently that's what people are saying, and they suspect that it is the ET5. So now it's kind of up to investors because all eyes are really on December 18th with the NIO Day event. If you guys remember last year, when NIO had their NIO Day event, shortly after, that's when we saw their all-time high in terms of their share price. NIO really would have to jump quite a bit to get back up to those numbers, but we've seen huge jumps from NIO in the past, and I wouldn't put anything past them. Now, I don't think we're going to see as big of a jump as we saw last year, but it's definitely worth considering and watching for that NIO Day event on the 18th. Earlier in December, NIO also won back investor confidence when they reported a 105.6% jump in their November deliveries, and this was also coming after a sharp drop in their deliveries in October. So I think this really has a lot of investors interested and excited to watch the NIO Day event and see what they announce, and seeing how this could affect NIO through the end of the year and going into early 2022. Now, for the exact numbers that NIO delivered in November, they delivered 10,878 vehicles. And again, that's a 105% increase year over year. And year to date in 2021 total, they've delivered 80,940 vehicles, which is also an increase of 120% year over year. But I think one of the things that really had a lot of investors concerned, and why a lot of people actually sold out of their positions in the last few months, was because NIO actually had some pretty big dips in terms of delivery numbers. If you guys saw their deliveries for August, September, and October, their numbers were kind of all over the place. In August, they delivered 5,880 vehicles, then it shot all the way up to 10,628 in September, and then in October it dropped all the way down to 3,600, which they haven't seen in quite a long time. So it's understandable why a lot of investors would be concerned with those kinds of numbers, but then in November they jumped up again and set an all-time record. Now, this probably leaves a lot of you guys wondering whether you should buy into NIO or add to your position if you already have a position in NIO. And while I'm not a financial advisor and I can't tell you guys whether you should be buying in or not, I can give you guys the information and tell you guys what's happened over this past year. And you guys can take that into consideration when you guys make a decision. But as of right now, shares of NIO are down over 30% year to date. And they're also 50% off their January 2021 highs. At that time, they were valued at close to $100 billion, and those highs were based on the potential and expected continued growth that we were seeing in the global EV market. But because of a semiconductor chip shortage, which affected the entire industry, not just electric vehicles, this affected their production, and this really hindered a lot of automotive manufacturers. Now, of course, NIO wasn't immune to this, and this contributed to the drop in shares, and their market cap is now at about $54 billion. So I think with the monthly record set for November deliveries, this really helps alleviate a lot of concerns over constraints and verifies that much of the dip in October was actually due to an interruption in production, as NIO prepared to upgrade their manufacturing lines for higher volume and new products in the next year. But even though NIO had such a large number of deliveries in November, this really only represents about half of their production capacity that they're working towards. And they're planning to expand, and this is scheduled to be complete in the spring of 2022. NIO began exporting vehicles for the first time in July of 2021 as they set up presence in Norway, and now they're expecting to move into Germany next year as well. And they've also launched several new products, and they're also likely going to be announcing multiple vehicles at the NIO Day event on December 18th. So with this perspective and a bigger picture view of NIO, this decrease that we're seeing in their share price really could make now a good time to buy in for different investors. And with patience could come a lot of reward. You just have to know that when you're buying into a stock like NIO, you're going to see ups and downs, and it could be for extended periods of times, possibly even months at a time, where you see NIO at all-time lows. But it all comes down to whether you actually believe in a company like this, and whether you've done the proper research for this to make sense for you to invest in. I think too many people just watch YouTube videos, and I think they see a stock that a YouTuber talks about, and just because they saw it online, they think it's a great stock to invest in. Now, while I'm personally invested in NIO right now, I'm not saying you guys should or shouldn't invest. I want you guys to do your own research and see if the numbers make sense for you guys to risk and invest in a company like NIO, especially considering that they're not yet profitable. At least in my opinion, there's a big risk to reward ratio for a stock like NIO. Now, if you guys are still invested in NIO since my last videos, and you've been holding all this time or even adding more to your portfolio, if you guys are comfortable with it, let me know down in the comments how many shares you own and what your average share price is. Also, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you leave a like because it really does help out the channel. And with that said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you back here in the next one.